Joachim, curious about how you're reading this data. It still feels like it is U.S. versus rest of the world, with U.S. at least trying to push a little bit further and further ahead. How are you thinking about U.S. versus everyone else?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think we've seen, as Mike said, I think we've seen peak rebound from the April lows, and that's a factor around the world. Obviously, if you look at China and Asia, they were first into the downturn. They were first out of it. Actually, we had some pretty good data out of Asia recently. Trade there is inter-Asian trade is rebounding quite strongly. We had the private sector manufacturing PMI, which reached a 9-year low overnight. So I think Asia is coming out of this pretty strongly. Europe rebounded, but as Mike said, has recently faded a little bit. So again, we have seen a peak rebound. From now on, the momentum is fading a little bit. We still see continued recovery around the world. But the big worry, obviously, is here in the US, whether fiscal will follow through. I think that's key. We're all waiting for the next stimulus package out of Congress. If that doesn't come anytime soon, I think we'll see even more of a deceleration in growth, and the risks of a double dip would be rising.
And Joachim, if we don't get that fiscal stimulus, you talk about a risk of a deceleration, a double dip. Is that coming in Q4? How bad do you see it getting before Congress wakes up and acts?
Well, first of all, yes, if it comes, it would happen in Q4. I mean, we're already towards the end of Q3 so far. Even if you look at the high-frequency data, we've seen some ebbing of momentum, but the economy is still recovering overall. So if we were to get a double dip, then that's a story for the fourth quarter, October, November. We think that Congress will act, so don't get me wrong. We think at some stage over the next several weeks, we will get another fiscal package, and it's going to be somewhere between, say, 1.5 and 2 trillion. But again, the risk is that it takes longer. And the longer it takes, the more the pressure will be rising on Congress to act eventually.